Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha Leighanne and I talk about books. Today I am going to be doing my first ever book review on this channel. I do monthly wrap-ups and kind of weekly wrap-ups where I briefly share my thoughts on particular books that I have read, but I haven't actually sat down and done a full book review. So this is my first attempt at this. Please be gentle and hopefully I can get all my thoughts together in a way that makes sense to you guys. So today I am going to be talking about The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It was excellent. I listened to this book on audio through Audible. It was narrated by Rachel Duluth and her narration was excellent. I did end up increasing the narration speed. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Audible, there is the standard narration speed, just, times 1, and then if you feel like the narrator is speaking too slowly, you can increase it all the way up to like times 3 or something like that. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I ended up increasing this to times 1.5. So while the narration was really good, it just wasn't going fast enough for me, which is why I, increased that pace. But that didn't detract from it at all to me. So let me start off by saying that I haven't really read a whole lot of science fiction. I have read some in the past, and this book was a really great reintroduction to this genre. A brief synopsis is we follow the inhabitants of the Wayfarer while they are on a long haul trip. The Wayfarer is filled with a multi-species crew, so really the narrative follows each of them as we learn more about them as people and aliens, learn more about the species, and really follow their interactions throughout this long haul trip. One of my favorite parts about this book was the descriptions of the alien species. I really got like a clear picture in my head of what these species looked like. I also feel like it would be a really great film or miniseries adaptation, so that was really cool. This story is extremely character driven. If you are looking for a high-paced, action-packed science fiction adventure, then this is not going to be the book for you. There were certain things that happened throughout the story that did drive the plot along, but for the most part, it was all about the characters. It was all about their interactions and, learning about themselves and really dealing with the day-to-day. The pacing in this book is a little bit slow, but the rhythm is good. So like as you're going through the beginning of the story and the narrative and you're really learning about, the different people on the Wayfarer, you kind of fall into rhythm with them. And I didn't realize how much I was really invested in these characters until some of the things started happening in the way of plot. These things would happen and it would be like, whoa, like I really care about these people. So there's that. Each of the characters was really complex in their own way, and there was a lot of development in the way of every single character or every single one of the main characters, which sometimes when you have so many different characters, that can really kind of take away because some people are kind of pushed to the side, or it can just feel like it's dragging. But I didn't find it to feel that way while I was reading this. I think because they were all interacting together and they were all kind of learning together, that it didn't feel like bogged down. Another thing, side note, that I loved about the characters in this book is there were a lot of really incredibly strong female characters, which I really appreciated. Another thing that I really appreciated about this was the diversity that was exhibited throughout the story. Not only did you have humans and different alien species, but you also had different gender identities. One of the things that I loved that Becky Chambers did was that yes, there are different alien species, but it wasn't like with all the alien species, they were either male or they were female. There were non-binary characters that were included. There were gender fluid characters that were included, which I thought was really, really great. It was a really great addition to that. It made things much more complex and really lended to the development of some of the characters. There's also a lot of different types of relationships. So there's, traditional male-female relationships. There are female to female, male to male, that kind of thing. It was very open and very honest. It was done in a way where it felt like it all really fit together very well. And speaking of that diversity, and there were so many different species that were included in this book, one of the things that it brought up were, things like what we would consider racism and prejudice. And it was done in a way that while a character would acknowledge that they didn't really understand a species or why they did what they did, they would sometimes say things or think things, and then immediately after, like, wow, that was a really shitty thing for me to say. Let me actually try and understand this. And then it would take you through that thought process and really show that character wanting to understand, you know, these different species. Overall, I really loved how relatable this book was to just the human experience in general. Although it takes place in space and, you know, there's aliens and all kinds of crazy things happening and all kinds of crazy characters, there are a lot of things that you can take away from it and really relate to your everyday life and really relate to your interactions with, you know, different people and people who are different from you. I really fell in love with these characters and their stories. That was the best part of the book for me. Like I said, if you're looking for something fast-paced, this is definitely not going to be for you. And the pacing could be just a little bit slow at times with a lot of exposition, but I feel like the payoff in the end was definitely worth it. The only other criticism I have is that I do feel like the ending did feel just a little bit rushed. However, it didn't take away from the overall experience of the book, and I wasn't left going, oh, that was it. So for that reason, I still gave it 5 stars because I absolutely loved it. So that's all I really have to say about it. Have you guys read this book? If you have, did you love it? Comment down below and let me know. Be sure if you were talking any spoilery talk that you hide that under spoilers and all that kind of thing, so we don't spoil it for anybody who may not have read it yet. Also, since this was my first review, comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you would like to see more of? I would love you guys' input on that, so we can be friends. All of my social media is linked in the down bar below. You can find me on Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram. As always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and click subscribe if you have not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.